Namaste, namaste, and welcome to Awakenings Moments of Inspiration. I am so happy to be here with you. A little late, better late than never, right? A few technical glitches, but everything seems to be on track now, which is a great thing. So I am so happy to be here with you. My name is Angela, and I am your host here for Awakenings Moments of Inspiration, where I like to bring in guests from all walks of life to discuss that click moment, what I like to call the click moment, the moment that changed their life, that they were different before, and then something happened, and now their life is completely different. And for most people, this click doesn't happen just once or twice in their lifetime. A lot of times it can happen many times, and I hope it does happen many times for many people, because you get to a level where you're succeeding, things are coming to you, and you think, what next, right? What next? Well, you just dream again and go on to the next thing. So that's the click can happen again, and you just move on to the next adventure. And that's the type of inspiration that I'm talking about, that you don't stop, that you just keep going and finding what makes you sing deep down in your heart. And I was doing ascended numerology. I do ascended numerology. For those of you who do not know what ascended numerology is, um, it is a science that allows the receiver of the sacred scrolls to be able to reconnect with their soul's mission in this lifetime. And it's a tool. It's not a divination tool necessarily, but it's a tool to help you tap into the timeless energy, that your soul has the ability to do so. It allows you to tap into the past, present, and future to help um, propel you forward, so that you can tap into those energies and use them for your own advantage. And it's science based on your birth date, your birth location, and your birth name. So it's very interesting. And I did, yes, today's date actually, and it turns out it is an 8. And the 8 is the if you take an 8, and you turn it on its side, it's the sign of the infinite. And that is what the 8 means, is this: you have this potential to tap into this energy that is infinite, that is the sea of co-creation, and you can use this archangelic crystalline energy to propel yourself forward. So I thought this was a very fitting day to have this happen. And it was very for my guest, because this woman is, to me, seems like the epitome of infinite energy. I met her last year, uh, although she didn't meet me until many. I I met her online when she was at Women Wellness and Awakenings last year with Shri and Kira at Tosa Blue Mountain, and they had a women's night, and she stood up and she gave me, and it resonated with me so strong that I became one of her biggest fans. And I was so pleased and overjoyed and absolutely over the moon that she was willing to come on and be a guest here on my show. And actually my very first guest. I'm just absolutely ecstatic about that. And her name is Beatrice Friedman, or B. Friedman. I like to call her Queen Batya. And so without further ado, let's just introduce you to Queen Batya.
Namaste,
Namaste,
Angel.
namaste, the beautiful bee.
What's going
So happy to
on?
see you.
I love the 8
I know.
creation. Like, does it get better than that? And talk about a
No,
retrograde, technical difficulties. Okay, it's all a part of it. So we're fitting right into the 8
exactly.
moment. It's unbelievable. And right now, my birthday, it's the same date as my birthday, so it doesn't get better than this.
Well,
Um,
there you go.
it's amazing. I'm
Yeah,
going to use.
mine's a 16, which is a half of 8 and an 8 other. So there you go. Wow, even more.
Ah, there we go.
We're on
Listen,
fire, girl. We're on fire.
everything like that just clicks. We just go with it, right? Like I mean,
Exactly.
talk about that click moment. It was pre-pandemic that I was like, okay, the pandemic is coming. This crazy thing is coming to us. What am I going to do? And I was already ready to pivot, right? So you get ready to
Mm-hmm.
pivot whatever's coming at you. And I was already looking at shields for my car to keep safety for my passengers. I was already on it. And
Mm-hmm.
it's being able, it's not, it's for a second you can go, oh my God, what's going to happen? Oh my God. Yeah, there was a definitely panic mode, but I was able to
Yeah.
take that mode and go, okay, that's not a problem. What can I do about it? How can I resolve it?
Mm-hmm.
How can I pivot from this? I was still operating through the pandemic. I was able to pivot. I had the mask, I had the shield. I was able to drive clientele, A-list clientele, still doing long trips. I mean, it was almost it was when I felt bad, I had like COVID shame almost. I was thriving and people
Yeah.
around me were not. And it was like, okay, should I be this happy? I cannot be this happy right now. I have to put on my, oh my God, we're in a pandemic phase.
But
I
do you find if you do kind of go out the door with that happy bubbliness? Now, of course, you got to kind of tone it down to a certain level to be within moderation. But when you go out into the world with that "I am so happy" vibe, do you not find though that you kind of infect other people with it? Even the grumpy old men in the grocery store or the little old lady that's trying to cross the street or whatever.
I love playing that game with the kids where let's see how many people we can get to smile. And and
Mm-hmm.
and and they're like, no way, you can't. I'm like, it's contagious. Smiling is
Yes.
contagious. If you smile, people notice. And my son was like, no way, you can't make people smile. I was like, let's see if we can make the whole room smile. And so he was beaming one way and I was beaming the other way. And sure enough, people can't help themselves. Can't
Yep.
help
Yep.
themselves. But a lot of
Exactly.
people will take that instead of saying, why is she so happy? How can I be that happy? Some people say that, oh, she must be on a happy pill. Why should be so happy? Instead of saying to themselves, looking within and saying,
Mm-hmm.
what can I do to be happy? And I get that a lot. I get that a lot. When I lost the weight, even I
Mm-hmm.
used to be 45 pounds. And when I was losing
Congratulations.
weight, I realized that people were not so happy for me. You really, it's like it was like, oh, she lost. Now she's going to be this different person, instead of just being in joy. It's like
Mm-hmm.
we have to learn how to be in joy, and I think the biggest problem now is we need to be able to be free to talk about love, about joy,
Yes.
about
When
happiness.
did when did kindness and love and sincerity become weaknesses? And that's where I've been that's why I wanted to start this show, is to show that there are people out there who actually still believe that kindness and love and compassion are the things that are ruling the world and moving the world forward. And just everyone come on our I'd like to say happy train, but it's not necessarily a happy train all the time. Like you said, there's things come up, COVID. You have to learn to pivot. And what gives you that strength though to just find that pivot point? What makes that click go off in your head that you're just like, I'm going to I'm going to do this. We've got this. That whole we've got this vibe. How do you muster that when it looks like it's
I think it begins with you, and I think it begins at the level you're at. Are you
Mhm,
walking? I try to keep my level here in neutral all day long. I want to be here. I want to be here, but if I can't be here, I want to be here,
yeah.
and definitely not below that. And I think people don't start their day with that. I mean, the first thing I do in the morning is say, and I get the kids on it too. Today's a brand new day.
Yeah.
Leave that crap behind. Start out, and today's a brand new day. Anything can
Yes.
happen. Possibilities. I mean, what I don't know about you, you're taking the same class, but I mean, it's like you can take there's multiple possibilities, especially in 24 hours, right? We Why not try to pull the best in you or start your day with the kick? Today is a brand new day. Every moment is a brand new moment. So if we sit there and go, oh man, this week was horrible, you're still living in the week. You're still living in that energy. Go
You
to
haven't
this
dropped it yet.
place of, yeah, I'm awake, I'm alive. Wow. All right, where am I going today? That's why I love driving, because every day it's a new place, not the same. I could never, I actually took sales and marketing in college. And,
That
the idea of going to an office every day was not me. I love what I do because every day
no.
I'm meeting new people, I'm going new places. The airports seem to be a little redundant, but even that I make light of it. It's really, where are we going? Do you want to sit in this poor me, the victim? I mean, I had the craziest equinox, the spring equinox. A lot of different energies coming at me, pulling at me. I mean, I went in thinking that um, I think I'm going to go 110% into the yoga of ascension. I'm going to be a priestess. And I was like, no, I kept toying with it and toying with it and going back and forth.
Hmm.
Where I had weeks before I went to the spring equinox, every deity, statues, every deity pop into, I'm like, it must be the right decision. It must be the right decision. And then at the equinox, all these different energies came in, and I was like questioning myself.
Hmm.
You have to know where you're at. And I was like, oh man, I'm not meant for yoga, since I can't hold that presence. This is not me. And then I was started going into it. This is not me. That maybe I should
Hmm.
take a step back. Maybe I should take a breather. And then I'm like, silly. You're here for a reason. You've almost
Yeah.
died like 9 different times. You've had multiple surgeries. You're still here. You had a bad accident in October. You're still here.
Yes.
There's purpose. Whether I'm going to be a priestess or move forward with it, I'm here, and I have to
Yes.
be in that neutrality of, I'm here, and the divine is always working through me. Right? It's
Hmm.
always called. And at that moment, it was probably calling me in that moment, and it still may call me, and I'm ready to go, but I'm moving forward. It's like you can't sit back and say, you don't sit there. You have to either keep it here or keep it moving, keep ascending. And
Yeah.
that's what we're here. It's like, I lost all this weight. I went to college. I had 2 kids when they told me I couldn't have kids. uh
I know that was an amazing story. Please share that story. That was an amazing story. Please.
Oh, you're gonna love this story. Okay, I have so
I
many.
love this story.
Um, Quiznos. I've told you, I've done it all. I owned a Quiznos in the
Yeah.
Bronx, and I met my husband there, and they had told me, that I wouldn't be able to have kids. I should look into in vitro. I should look into adoption, but um, my hormones were out of whack. I wasn't going to have any kids. So my
Hmm.
husband was like, we're going to have kids. I'm like, I don't know. The doctor said, no way, it's not going to happen. So my husband is Aztec and Mexican by nature,
Yeah.
and it was a full moon. It literally was a full moon. X. Right. I still think to this day. I don't know if it's the Aztec gods. Um, we saw all over the property, and it was a full moon. So my husband's like, "It's time. Let's go. Let's go. Let's go do it. Let's go have some baby." And I'm like, "Come on, anything to have sex, right? You're using the moon and the rabbits, whatever. If it makes you happy." not going to happen. No way. Uh-uh. It's definitely not going to happen. But
He
I make
knows his
light of it.
mojo.
Yeah. He's like, let's go do it. So I'm like, all right. We finally go, and I'm like, I think I'm pregnant. Now, I wasn't getting my periods regular because my hormones, that was one of the reasons my hormones were out of whack. Yeah. And
Mm-hmm.
so, Doc, I think I'm pregnant. She goes, oh, Beatrice, honey, sweetie, I told you it's not possible. It's just not in your cards. And when you're ready, and me and my husband weren't even married at the time yet. We were getting married. Um,
Yeah. Oh, okay.
and I'm like, no, I think I'm pregnant. Just give me the damn test. I pulled the B and I was like, I want the test now. I went into like total New York mode. No, give me that test. I know I'm pregnant. So she comes out with the test, and 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 it was positive. I go, it's Mexican. And I don't mean this with any offense. It's Mexican, not Mexican, mofo. And my husband, you just say mofo? I the actual words to the doctor. I was like, she doesn't believe in miracles. I'm never going back to her anyway. There are miracles. She did not believe it. And I got pregnant.
Yeah.
And it was unbelievable. And then I got pregnant a second time 14 months later. Now, I'll tell you another story. They told me my son, my firstborn, was going to be in the spectrum and that I was
Mm-hmm.
going to have all these issues with him. And because I was on Lovenox, I needed blood thinners. And when he was born, he had delayed speech. He just wasn't hearing properly, wasn't even communicating. So they're like, we just want to prepare you. He's in the spectrum. I kept saying,
Mm-hmm.
no, no. Maybe after he's 5 years old, I will give it, I will accept it. But not even. I'm not going to accept it. He's not in the spectrum. It was the daycare worker that said, have you ever gotten his? We took him for every test. We took him to every single doctor in New York City. They all
Mm-hmm.
told me, spectrum, spectrum. It was the daycare worker that said, did you get him his hearing test? No.
Uh,
We went to a neurologist. We saw every kind of doctor. Simple hearing test. He couldn't hear.
yep.
He had to get
Yep.
he had to get tonsils removed. So it's really, are you going to fall into the trap of what people say? Are you going to find out and do the work behind it? Are you going to fall into the trap? Yeah, they're right. I'm just overweight. I'm not going to be able to go to college. I mean, that's what I was told my whole life. You're going to have to go to the family
Mm-hmm.
business for you. My brother's the same thing with the family business. I'm like, no, the family business is not for me. It's not how I want to be a family. And you could
Mm-hmm.
sit there, sorry for yourself, and go along with everybody. You want to take that ride, you could take that ride, or you can
Yeah.
fight with all your might, and it doesn't have to be a fight. It's however your
No.
journey's. I refuse to listen to people the first. I'm stubborn. Not stubborn. I want to find out on my own. Am I going down the right path? And I even on this journey, I'm still like, okay, I'm in the yoga self-ascension. I know I'm spiritual, but is
You're
this the right path?
steadfastly committed.
Yes, yes. That it, and it's been a challenging year because it's like you're every time you say yes, it's like, you sure about that?
The
And
universe goes, are you sure?
yeah, and I
Exactly.
think
Exactly.
the equinox, I think that's what that was for me. Totally. Oh, you want to commit to this life? Oh, well, what about all your fears? What happened to that? You
Yeah.
you didn't let go of them, did you? I'm like, I thought I did. Okay, I'll come back. I'll come back in September and we'll have this discussion again. And
Yeah.
it
I think that's an
go with
energy that I'm dealing with right now. Yeah. Is that kind of that pop or drop type of energy, and that's where that even this energy of the 8 today is coming from. It's the time, it's allowing you all the infinite power and energy to pop or drop. And I think it's been really kind of in the air for the last month, and I've definitely been feeling it too. And yeah, the universe is definitely going, are you sure, are you sure, are you sure?
March was
And
very much for me. I mean, even I was thriving last year financially, and
mhm,
January I came back for I had a beautiful New Year's at Tosa. I mean, that was the most beautiful experience at Tosa. I mean, talk about open heart, open mind, and just receiving all those messages of this year of joy,
yeah,
love. And I'm like, this is the place where I want to be at. This is I want to keep. I mean,
yeah,
that's my this year to and I don't know if you saw my last post. I came out to my friends. I mean, I've gone to Tosa Blue
yes.
Mountain. See, I'm wearing the Tosa tunic today. I just bought it the last like I mean, I wish I had more of a community here, but I'm so grateful
Hmm.
for Dane, so grateful for Shri, I'm so grateful for Kira, I'm so grateful for Jess, I'm so grateful for you. And every time I go to Tosa, it's like an up level and all the great people. It's funny how you meet people and you start talking to people when you need them. Everybody's at their different stage, but
Yeah.
it's that little it's like the grease into your journey. Like you needed this person to come in at this time, you needed that person, and
Yeah.
there's been that you just don't groove with, and now you're like, wow, we actually more alike than I thought we were. And that's this community. I don't think I fit into the New Yorker mode a little bit, like hustle, I got the entrepreneur mode. And there was a question like, okay, I'm not vegan, I'm not I don't do holistic remedies, I'm not the most spiritual person. I mean, I've come a long way in the past year because we're knowing, we're in this game. And if you don't know by now, everything is meant as it should be. And I've taken that into to I keep myself calm by that now. It's especially when you put everything out there, whatever is
Hmm.
meant to do everything in your mastery presence, it's up to the divine at that point, because you went in with a full
Hmm.
heart, an open heart. And it's so funny that we talk about an open heart. I would never have this conversation with my college friends. Uh, I I'm going
Yeah.
away with them next month to Florida, and it's going to be a very different conversation. They're not used to seeing me with malas, Shiva
Yeah.
ring. I travel now with my entourage of stones, candles. Uh,
I saw your little Buddha on your dashboard on your picture. It was
yep,
very cute.
yep. I gotta keep those. I The whole point is to
Mine too.
have. I don't have to sit here with malas, and I don't have to. But you know what? It helps me be in this mind frame, and I'm
Yep.
noticing need those reminders. And I keep asking myself, do I have to constantly say to myself, I am here, I am present,
Hmm.
I am God, I am open. And the answer is yes. We
Yeah.
need it, because how quickly we go into old programming.
Exactly.
And,
Exactly.
and it's so easy to go back there. It's just the ego's like, oh, this is my comfy spot. Uh,
Yeah.
this
Yeah.
ego is like, this ascended bee is more focused, more direct, knows where she's going. Uh,
Hmm.
it wants to protect us, and it thinks that you don't know what you're doing. So it's like ego, hello, I got this. I'm in the driver's seat. I'm driving this.
Exactly.
We got this.
Yep.
Don't worry about it. Okay, but you're gonna fall and all these things are gonna happen to you. No, I'm here. I'm present.
But
And
the
I
the
I
challenges are what sorry, B. The challenges that you were saying that come up, though, that's what helps your ego when you can say no and you kind of set that aside for your ego and you say, no, we're going to do this. And you kind of acknowledge it and acknowledge the fear that, yes, but there's really nothing to be afraid of. I find when you kind of overcome those um, events or things that block us, you feel bolstered and your energy just rises up out of it. Do you find that it calms your ego down and then your ego goes, oh yeah, you're right, you do got this, all right, okay, I can sit in the back seat and relax. That's how it feels to me a lot of the time.
Yeah. Yep. And the mirror, you see yourself when you're able to be the witness. And I'm
Mm-hmm.
finally concept of being the witness and
Yeah.
witnessing that, you know, it's okay to mess up. It's not everybody's perfect. And there was a
Mm-hmm.
reason that you needed to fall. If you do fall, it's
Yeah.
okay. And I keep telling myself it wasn't a fail, it wasn't a fall. It was a realignment.
Yeah.
It was
A
a real
pause to adjust trajectory kind of thing.
Yeah. Yeah, I really last month was like bumming out a little bit when I came back from Tosa. Like I'm not as aligned as I thought I was. What
Yeah.
path? And I'm like, wait, the perfect path is the one I'm on. And
Yeah,
and
exactly.
and this is it. I'm heading in the right direction. I thought I was like, oh, time to go. You know what? I'm going to close my mind off to it, but I can't. Once you
Mm-hmm.
open this, once you have that open heart, it comes back to this. And I get lost in whenever Kara does any kind of meditation or I get lost in it. And my heart is just boom. And I
Thumping.
notice now, being in 3D, my heart just wants to be out there. And
Mm-hmm.
I'm like, remember, people can't handle it.
Yeah.
When you you can literally walk into a room, smile, and you're just high vibing, and you'll get noticed. And you
Yeah.
could see some people that are just like, nope, I don't want that energy. They will walk away from you. But when you're
Yep.
smiling in the flow and you're like, there are tons of people that want to be in that energy.
Yeah, then the people who are naturally attracted to you in that energy will naturally flow into you if you can keep that energy elevation up. All of these things just naturally begin to flow into your consciousness and into your life and into your frame of mind, and the next thing you know, you're on a roll. And I think the question is don't the situation is don't question that role, just go with it and say, I've got this. And I think that's where most of us stop, is our brain gets in the way and goes, whoa, wait a minute. And then the old TikTok uh, words in our mind go off and say, the whole speech in our brain that we've grown up with that is uh, giving us all the negative feedback and saying you can't do this and you can't do that, like what you were struggling with in April, or sorry, March. And to be honest, quite frankly, I've been struggling with here in the last couple of weeks of April. But if you just kind of like, I always say, if you can give thanks and open your heart up and be grateful for something, you can get that energy to start going back up the spiral. You're never off it, right? Like Kira says, you're never off it, but it's not it's not going down. It's just taking a pause, finding that trust and gratitude and thankfulness for whatever it could be that will take you back up the spiral. And I think a lot of us have been going through that this past month. I think that's just the energy of what's been happening out there in the world. So, what are your plans for the future?
Um, I see that's the answer. I don't have any plans. I'm doing this right now, car service, but
Mm-hmm.
I'm I'm leaving it to the universe. I'm open to the divine, whether it's going back and forth to Tosa, if it's becoming a mentor, if it's becoming a priest, priestess level, if it's not even in that modality, I'm okay with it.
Hmm.
It's I just, I think what's happening to me now is I'm in the it's time for me. This is the longest I've ever done anything. I've been 8 years in car
Me too.
service already.
Hmm.
I started, don't ask me how I went from being an auctioneer, and I'm still kind of an auctioneer. I used to do
Yes.
5 5, who's got five, I used to do
Yep.
that.
Yep.
I was able to how did I go from car service becoming the car service for New York City and black car service, the only woman owned car service to serve New York. I mean,
Yes.
I told her, listen, where you live, it's going to cost more money because I'm not even the same. She said to me, I want to support a woman owned business and I want to support yours. Whatever it is, I'll take it. And
Aw, that's
that
lovely.
versus saying, you're right on. You're right on.
Yeah.
I mean, I get I have that New Yorker attitude sometimes, and I think that's what guides me. It's sometimes that fire, spitfire, like, yeah, I'm going in. This is it. And I think that's the kind of my grandmother owned a woman, first woman in check cashing. So it kind of like,
Oh,
uh,
wow.
yeah, I hired her greatly. She came to this country with nothing, and I have that attitude, like, you know what? So I'll start over again. Starting over for me is fun. It's relearning. I mean, I learned eBay. I'm a number one seller still on eBay. I haven't sold much lately, but that's because I don't keep up with it. It's I was diagnosed with ADHD growing up, but my kids also have it as well, and I can't tell
Yeah.
you what it is. And I tell them all the time, learn how to use this gift. I'm able to
Channel it.
multitask.
Yeah.
I'm able to multitask, also be thinking ahead and looking into my next venue. I have no clue what that it's an ever-changing world right now. I mean, the internet
Hmm.
is out there. We got streaming, everything. People are not going to work anymore. So I know I'm on the verge of switching modalities, but I'm
Something new and
also
exciting.
I'm not that worried from coming from sales and marketing background to doing auctioneering to now doing car service. I know I'm being guided. I know
And running a fast
that,
food restaurant in the middle of all that.
yeah,
Don't forget that.
listen, I lost 300 almost $300,000 on that venture. It was other partners. A quarter of a million
Hmm.
dollars on venture, but I didn't lose anything. Because of it, I met my husband. Because of it, I have two kids. I mean, my brother always used to say that there was something special in the mail. That's why you had the two kids. But it got me. I've never had to think about what am I going to do next. When it's time, and I know it's just gonna whatever modality it will be, whether it's uh, holistic, which I'm hoping, because I've never felt so
Hmm.
great in my like even when I tell you my worst, when I'm having a down moment now, it's not it's not without merit. It's because I know I never sink to the bottom. I never go live there. I never let myself live there.
Hmm.
Okay, I fell down. Ouch, that hurts. Let me put some band-aids on it. I'm gonna sit in it for a
Yep.
little bit, but I'm gonna get out. I got two
Yeah.
hands. I got a brain. I'm alive today. I have two kids. What's next? What's gonna drive? I used to walk around saying passion drives me, success follows me. And that's the way I look at it. Because as long as I have this, I'll be okay. As long as I have that passion to keep going forward and that passion that drives me, I know we got this.
Yeah. Yeah. You have plenty of that, I will admit. Holy smoke. You're a spitfire. I just admire your energy and everything that you have shared with the community and with all of us. It really helps people to see that. um, I think in a lot of cases, when you're talking, I've never been spiritual before. I've never been, when people try and get into spirituality, I think they see gurus and stuff on this on high pedestal, where I think when you can bring it down and say, no, it's everyday people, it's you and me. It's in spirituality isn't about necessarily performing all the rituals exactly the right way. It's about being open in your heart, showing the kindness out to the world. It's about knowing that no one person is above the other. It's I don't know what else to say. It's just love all around. And I want to be able to bring that out to the world and show that everybody is capable of being spiritual within their heart, because it's all the divine spark inside of each person that propels us forward. So if we all have the divine spark inside of us, right, then we're all going to be able to feed in and feed into it, feed off of it, and be part of that and embrace it and open ourselves up so that we can lift our vibration and move up the spiral as opposed to down and or kind of stuck in that lateral spin that Shri and Kira always talk about, know and love oh so well.
I think a part of, what I love about Sri and Kara, and you're going to experience this when you go in September, because I know you're going, is they put feeling into everything they do.
Mm-hmm.
Everything, first I was like, okay, you want me to feel what? And you want me to be, okay, we're walking down, you smell the trees, and I'm like, smell the trees? Wait, wait, it's igniting that. It's opening this, it's opening your
Yep.
crown, it's opening your heart, it's opening the chakras. And I look at Sri and Kira, yes, they're gurus. They 20 years of service, like
I know, they're amazing.
steadfast commitment. But I look at them as my cosmic tour guides. You know, they
Yeah, that's a good way of looking at it.
they're my cosmic tour guides. I always say, I laugh, and I think, I don't know if it's a great joke or a bad joke, but I say I'm the Forrest Gump of ascended ascendedness. Because, like, it's like sometimes you get a message from the divine, and you're like,
Yep.
you okay, divine told me, my inner soul told me to go here. I feel like the Forrest Gump. When Forrest Gump was just,
He
all
just
right,
does it. He just flows right into it. It
right.
just
And
happens for him. Yeah.
I'm like, I say I'm the Forrest Gump of holy of ascended yoga, because it's like my higher self told me to go here. I'm
Hmm.
go I went and I did it.
But that's amazing because you're not in your head so much, where I am the complete opposite. I got to put the brain down and just go with the flow more. The fact that you can just do that is, oh, hail to you. And I would love to be able to do that and get my brain more out of the situation than it is. I'm working on it, but hopefully eventually that will happen for sure. But
It's
yeah,
trust.
but like,
It's trust. It's the trust.
yep, yep.
Okay. You
Trust
know,
in
uh,
yourself.
like 3 weeks ago, was it 4 weeks ago? I was just told to spend the week, and this was coming from inner self, inner guidance, telling me,
Hmm.
whatever calls you, do it.
Yeah,
Okay, so go with it. Yes, go with it. It's time to go.
go with it.
So I was called to drive an hour and a half away, so 3 hour round trip, to go to the Poconos and sit with the Buddha. And that property, I kind of was trespassing because it was closed, but
Yeah.
I there, and they were monks, and I think they were
Yeah.
probably okay with it as long as I wasn't running around the property. But I
Hmm.
trust. Okay, it was cold, and I'm like, okay, I'm like, okay, I'm here now. Okay, higher self, I'm here now. What? I'm like waiting for the big ah,
Yeah.
and I'm like, okay, nothing. Okay, what am I getting out of this? Oh, you will get something out of it. Not just you're looking too hard. I'm like,
Yeah.
okay, all right, I'm going home. I just wasted gas and I drove 3 miles and I was waiting for like lightning or something to
Yeah.
appear. Okay, but you know what I got out of it?
What?
I The most key part out of it was just allowing myself to listen to that inner guidance and be
Hmm.
in the and the flow. I spent the whole week like that. I had a very light work week, so I could allow myself to do that. I went to the float center. I ended up going
Hmm.
drive with my husband to Massachusetts where I saw all the statues. And I'm like, I looked at that whole week like, what gifts did I allow myself? I saw all these wonderful,
Hmm.
I spent time with my husband. I was calm. I wasn't yelling at the kids the whole week. I was allowed to be
Yeah.
in the moment and the go, not letting this get in the way of this. And I was
Hmm.
like, I got it. Thank you. And it took 2 weeks to get that message. I'm like,
Yeah.
okay, that was a great week. I was a coming week. And the divine. So I am the Forrest Gump of divinity, of the higher of yoga. Inner self told me to run. Inner self told me to
Well.
Buddha. And but you have to. It's hard for me to be in that mode all the time because you're thinking, I
Hmm.
got bills. I got to do
Yeah.
this. Are the
Yeah.
kids okay? I cook dinner. Next week I have to go to these appointments
Yeah.
and it's hard. I'm like, how do I get to the point? I'm like, retirement. I know retirement will be like that. I will be when
Yeah.
I'm finally retired, and I already know I'm retiring at between 60 and 65, if not sooner. Um,
You've already got it mapped out.
I, like I want to spend the rest of my life traveling and
Hmm.
and and being able to go and feel. I mean, if I've gotten anything
Yeah.
from Sri and Kira, it's the that overwhelming love if you allow yourself to feel. And
Hmm.
it's New York City. There's a lot of angry and upset people. And it's to push through that,
Hmm.
knowing, yeah, there are these energies that don't want to see you happy. There are these energies that 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 are your old energies coming back to revisit you all the time. It's
Hmm.
are we going to how are we going to pivot? Are we going to go back into our old ways? No, that person, Bacha, is here. I try to pull in the best possible me every day, the best probability of Bhatia. Bhatia, I mean, when that was those 2 weeks, I
Hmm.
was like,
Yep.
I'm here. I think I've leveled up, and I think that's what happened. I really think it was like, okay, you're at a higher level, for sure. But
Yeah.
but you still, when you're ready, you'll know. You know.
Yeah.
And and
Yeah.
I know with all my heart I'm meant to keep going forward with this. And it's great that the community now is growing. Do you see
I
all the
know.
new people and I think about it is like we're opening so many hearts. How many people can we help? And that's just
Yeah.
not going, hey, are you living the ascended life? That's being in present. So I get
Exactly. Yep.
I get it now. Wherever, when I step foot in my car, I'm here.
Yeah.
I remind myself constantly, I am here. And it kind of sends a signal to my ego, like, you are here. Snap out of this. You are here.
Exactly. Sea of neutrality.
Yep. Yep.
Oh
I
my
think
goodness. I just looked at the time, B.
I
We
told
did.
you. I told you. We could go anywhere.
Yeah, I didn't think we'd have too much trouble filling in a whole hour. I'm going to have to bring you back again because you're just such a light and a joy, and you have so many inspiring stories that can just lift people up so much. I did want to let everyone know, and you know too, that on the May new moon, which is the May 30th, I'm going to be starting a new moon circle. So just anybody who's interested in that, please keep an eye out on my website at watersofselfascension.com for any heads up or even any announcements that I have here on the radio show. So I'll be keeping everybody apprised. But I want to start up the new moon ceremonies again, but have it more like a sharing circle, so that the community can come together and interact with one another and be able to share the things that they're birthing in the month. And that's going to be starting on May 30th. So just keep an eye
Awesome.
out for that and listen for any announcements here. So that's I guess that's about it. Oh my goodness. Yeah, if anybody has any more wants any more information on the yoga of self-ascension, please go to shriankira.com. And if you're interested in ascended numerology, you can and a sacred scrolls, you can check out shriankira.com or my website at waters of self slash or sorry waters of self ascension.com or .ca. Either one will work. And you can drop me an email too at water, love, and light at gmail.com. Thank you, B, for everything. And thank you all. It was a lovely, lovely hour. Thank you for this co creation. Namaste, everyone.
Love you. See you later.